I'm Margot Thatcher, and this is the story of how skiing suddenly became my life, quite unintentionally. Way back in when I first went to university, first year, I'd been given some skis by my mother and a lovely outfit, an Austrian outfit, and I was told I could go down to the chalet and have a week's holiday during the university break. So down I went, and who should I meet but Larry Adler down there. And he, I'll never forget, I had these very smart skis and didn't even know how to carry them. And he said, I'll show you how to put these on once and once only. Right, attention. So on with the skis. And I just loved it. I was out in that snow until dark, and I'd get in the bath at night and I'd be in tears, just pure exhaustion. And anyway, after I was there about a week, Larry had said to me, if you stayed here for 6 weeks, I'd make you into a ski instructress. Oh, I thought, oh, that sounds like fun. Anyway, so I went back to and I offered to help Larry get his pharmacy registrations out here in Australia, because he'd come from Africa, South Africa. And so we kept in contact that way. And I told my parents that I was no more university. I was going to become a ski instructress. Well, as you can imagine, in those days, I was never allowed to ski again until I graduated.
Oh,
That was in 1962. But they did promise when I finished I could then go skiing. And meantime, I'd seen Larry and helped him with his establishing himself as a pharmacist in Sydney. And he said, I could get you a job at Mont Tremblant in Canada. And there you could have half a day every day to ski if you worked in this boutique. They sold ski pants, sweaters, French perfumery, Alka-Seltzer, and you worked 6 hours each day in different shifts. And for that, I was allowed to go and have a lesson with anyone, any instructor, any time. Well, as mad as I was about skiing, I was at every opportunity I was out there on the snow. Well, after about 6 weeks I'm there, and the head of the ski school there, who was Ernie McCullough, said to me, who have you been having lessons with? And I'd say, Joe, Dave, anyone, Tom. And he said, well, if you continue on like this, I'd like you to go and do the ski instructor's course and come back and teach for me next year. I thought, well, I still wasn't particularly interested in teaching skiing. And I said, where's the ski instructor's course? They said, Sunshine. And that was out west in Banff, right near Banff, that area. So I thought, oh, well, that's a great way of seeing America. I can get a lift across and I can go and see the border. So off I go. Meantime, getting all these letters from all my friends who had caseloads of all these patients and doing all very good things. But I thought, right, I will work in the Calgary General Hospital and for the summer. Anyway, I went and did the course, saw the area, absolutely beautiful, Lake Louise, Banff area, and managed to pass the course. And so therefore I had my job guaranteed at Mont Tremblant for the next winter. So I did my OT there, and I went to England and did a few weeks over there just so that I make everybody happy. And there I was in the freezing cold of Mont Tremblant teaching. And then, well, I went to New York and went to all the ski trade shows selling things. And my mother said, look, it's time you came back to Australia and gave Australia a go. You can't go on like this. And it happened to be 1964, the year of the Tokyo Olympics. So that was the carrot. I said, well, okay, Mum, I'll give it a go. I'll give Australia a go and we can go to the Olympics on the way home. So that was good. Get back to Australia and I get a job doing occupational therapy at South Sydney Hospital, where I knew Dr. Wing. I'd been a student there and we got on well. And I said, she gave me a job. I said, but look, if I can get a job at Thredbo during a couple of months during the winter, I might have to just go over and teach. And she said, oh, teaching. Okay, that'll be all right. Come back in October. So I said, right. So I came down, interviewed by Leonard Earharter, expecting the formality of what Canada had been like. And I met Leonard in the copper kettle surrounded by beautiful women. And I said, I've applied for a job. If there is no Margot, I will go and call you. You will have a job. That was my interview. So I went back. Well, of course, then the snow came. I get the telephone call. So I'm off to Thredbo, and here I am teaching at Thredbo, which was fantastic. I really just loved it. But then, as time went on, all the Austrians said to me, Margot, have you not skied in Europe? And I said, well, no, I haven't skied in Europe. And they said, oh, gosh, the power of skiing over there. Why don't you come and teach in the ski school in Zurich? We can help you. We'll make sure you get a job there. Oh, dear. I thought, well, what an opportunity. So back to Dr. Wing I go. And I said, oh, terribly sorry, Dr. Wing, but, I've been offered a job in Austria to teach skiing. Oh, well, in that period, in 1964, 64, for a woman to be skiing and a woman teaching Austrians, it was, she thought, Margaret, what an honour, how lucky you are. Oh, thank you, Dr. Wing. So off I go. I start teaching over in Zurich, and had the most. January I didn't teach because they weren't busy, and then I taught right up until April, all the way through. So then I decided I came back to Australia, and I thought, we're given so many opportunities as Australians when we're overseas that we should do something for our country, bring something back to improve Australia. So I get back and I thought, what on earth can I do to improve things in Australia? What a stupid thing to be saying. And then suddenly I thought, well, the ski wear in Australia is terrible, really. You can't buy anything. What about if I'll write to Willie Bogner and see whether he'd be interested in me representing him in Australia. Thinking, well, that'll be the end of that, but at least I'd tried, and my conscience was quite clear that I had tried to do something for Australia. Well, of course, next thing, letter back. What size range are you intending to buy? And, well, all this, anyway, I got some help from friends and wrote the letter back. And suddenly I am representing Willie Bogner in Australia. So then I come back from Europe, and of course in April, and of course the ski season starts again in July here. So I go back to Dr. Wing, because Dr. Wing had always said to me, Margaret, you'll always have a job here. And I said, thank you. I thought, well, I'll go back to Dr. Wing and just say, well, I'll be teaching at Thredbo now, and then I'll be going back to Europe in December, but I'll be in Sydney in October for 3 months. And she said, right, I will organise for the therapists to take their holidays during that period, and you can be the permanent fill-in for that period. How lucky was I to have that? So that meant that I'd do my ordering for Bogner would be between that October and December, when I picked the range when I was over in Europe. And then I get all the deliveries. It was when I came back from Europe in April, before the season started. And then I'd be back teaching at Thredbo. So my year consisted of 3 very enjoyable occupations. I couldn't get tired of any of it, but I did love going back and doing my 3 months occupational therapy, having been down here. And in that time, it was just the Austrians. There was about 13 of us in the ski school. We all lived in Bottom Station, and we were part of the village. You were the guest, every night you were with the guests. And at the end of the season, everyone was made into a little god, particularly the Austrians, and really gods. But, occasionally I just think, Margot, look, you've got to bring yourself down to the real world. So going back to South Sydney Hospital for October, November, December, I used to go and there was such enthusiasm because I loved it. I really loved it. And that's where I loved the actual teaching part of the instructing. And Leonard was so good to me the last couple of years. Last 3 years. I would just take private lessons, except for school holidays. So, and then I'd have the children naturally. But so the people that were booking privates, they really wanted to learn. So that's why I got a lot of satisfaction out of my teaching here at Thredbo. And my last year here was in 1970. That was my last year teaching here. Started at 64, finished in 70.
And so what was it like being there? Were you the only woman in the ski school?
No, there was one stage, there was an English girl called Jenny Godbeer, and then another bit, Christine Smith later on. She came in and shared a room down in Bottom Station. Oh, and the other thing about Bottom Station I loved, there used to be a wombat, used to live at the stairs. I looked at the stairs this morning, they're all closed in. But Wally the wombat used to live in there. I say, morning.
But you're surrounded by Austrian ski instructors.
Yes.
Most girls would have died for that.
Well, yes, well, you had to know that an Austrian meant what they said at the time, but tomorrow was always another day. And I'd been told that when I first came down here in 1964, Margot, if you're going with all those Austrians, you must always remember that quote. So I always did know they were charming, they were all wonderful. They were greatest friends to me, all of them. And they, they looked after me over in Europe. But then there were tough times here. And I had to go one night and rescue those 2 children that had died on the mountain. And that wasn't all fun and games.
What was your involvement with that?
Well, I was sitting at the shush bar having a drink, 6 o'clock, and suddenly, will all ski instructors please come to Bottom Station? So I went over, and we were told that there were 2 children that were missing. They happened to be the children of the barman from there. And we were put into 2 people, and they drew a map, and we were given a certain area to comb. And it was sort of breakable crust and horrible. It had been warm, it had frozen. And I was put with Evo, who was really wonderful, lovely guy. And we were given merits. So we went up merits lifts, and we had to comb down. And Evo was he said, Margot, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. And then we came down. You could see they were following tracks. They were heading for the valley. They were doing, obviously the lift had closed, and they were at least heading in the right direction. But a big mistake was they took off their skis and they tied them neatly. Because we came down to this little stream gully area, and here was this beautiful child just lying there, and I thought, oh, she's asleep. No. She'd taken off her hat, taken off her gloves, and they say you're euphoric if you freeze to death or you drown, apparently. So, oh gosh, we had to pick up the body and put the body on Evo's back.
What time of the night was that?
That would be about 10 o'clock. That was 9:10. One time we all got down. And then we all met at Bottom Station. You can imagine I was an absolute wreck. And Leonard said, now, Margot, you can go home. Thank God for that. And the others all had to go up the mountain again to find the boy. And they knew that he'd be in that sort of area. And so they found him actually in the stream they found his hands in the water, and they brought him down. But that was something that I'll never, ever forget.
And you found her?
With Evo, the two of us.
With Evo, yeah.
We found the first one, which was all just really, made one really appreciate how dangerous skiing can be, and just how careful one's got to be, and how everyone's got to be instructed what to do. But these two obviously were good skiers. They were living here, there we are. But other than that, all my times at Thredbo were so happy.
And what was
then-
it like living in Valley Terminal?
Oh, it was great. I had my room. There was another girl, they started a ski kinder minding place. So there was a girl in charge. She had that room, and I had my room, and then sometimes I shared if there was another instructor's. And we had this huge bathroom. We were right at the far end. And then I used to, when we go out, I'd always, if I had to go to ski school, I'd always just check on how Leonard was today. Was he in a good mood or not? And yeah, they were all tripping. We'd meet after skiing and we'd have drinks in somebody's rooms and here.
So tell us, what was it like teaching beginners in Thredbo back in those days?
Well, we used to put them on the lift and take them up to the basin. And there we were up there, as long as the weather was okay. And if there was snow, we used to teach them right at the bottom. Where I looked this morning, it was all buildings. It's at the bottom of where the was Crackenback lift is now, what the Kosciuszko lived. And there was that's where the ski school meeting place was. And that's where, behind that, you'd have a bit of beginners, or just at the bottom there, if there was some snow. And because there wasn't snowmaking machinery then, that came later. So a lot of it was right up the top in the...
So what about Margots? Margots wasn't there yet?
I don't know, that came in, 68, in my last couple of years.
So everybody was instructed up in the basin.
Oh,
And how long would it take you before someone could go on the T-bar?
Oh, not too long. You know, day after the first lessons, second lesson, you know, depending on the person naturally. But that,
With long skis,
too long.
it would be not easy.
205s we used to all ski on with the boots and it was something else. And the wind up there, the wind and the rain, I'll never forget.
So how did you dress? Did you dress in Bogner in the rain?
Well, I had to wear my ski school jacket when I was teaching. And if it was rainy, and I thought, look, you've got to be completely mad to be out in this. We all should be playing games at home rather than being out. Yeah, I used to save all my dry cleaning bags, and I used to put 2 holes in them, and I put my dry cleaning bag over my ski school jacket and teach in that. And sometimes I was really naughty. I used to make the wind and rain blow in their face instead of my face. Because you shouldn't be here. You're not learning anything, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, I know, but it was that wet and that rain and the wind.
So what are your lasting memories of skiing in America, Austria, and Australia? What are your fondest memories?
Well, I suppose what's really clear to me most even was learning to ski powder in Zers. Here I was suddenly having to teach, and I'd never seen powder in my life. And with these 205s, I thought, what am I going to do? Help. This is terrible. I was doing face plant after somersault coming down. And then Siggy Wolf, one of the instructors here, said, you come up with me at lunchtime. I've got a pair of old floppy old head metal skis. I'm going to put those on you, and we're going to come from the top. In a minute, I knew how to do it because it gave me time to get into the right position to help hold myself up instead of just going completely diving up and those head skis and skiing that powder. I'll never forget that. That was absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Did you ever get powder like that in Thredbo?
No.
No.
No, not like that. And then since then I've been, I lived in England and I met my husband down here at Karela. He was one of my pupils. I used to have private lessons. One morning I had Max Hutchison, who owned an art gallery here. Then I had Harry Miller, who was the big promoter of things. And the third was my husband-to-be, Raymond. He was my third private for the morning.
You must have given a good lesson.
Oh, yeah. Well, he'd been skiing forever in Kitzbühel or whatever, and so I got him to relax instead of being terrified. So we, yeah, up at Karela, and then of course I was always promoting my Bogner, and whenever I could, I'd be putting on another outfit, and sometimes even when I was teaching, I've seen photos of me not in my ski school jacket, but in the latest Bogner creation that I was trying to sell. But then my husband liked skiing in America, and so for the last 37 years I've skied in a place called Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and that's
And why Jackson Hole?
well, I've been told by White Walter from Austria, who was in the Thredbo ski school, that was the most amazing, wonderful place. And for an Austrian to tell me that anything was better than Austria, I thought it really has to be very special. So I went there and took Raymond there, and well, we just couldn't believe this mountain. It was what there was there, the elevation, the powder, the interesting slopes. And the thing was, you didn't have the feeling that you were just skiing cuts, you're skiing, doing run, run, run. There you felt that you were skiing a mountain, and you got the feeling of being out there, and it was not so mechanical, and it was lovely. So we bought a place there, or my husband, we bought a place there in 1979, when not many people even knew about Jackson Hole. And so it's been a great influence on our family from England, from here. We all met up in Jackson for Christmas, New Year, and it's a fantastic powder. And well, I just haven't been in Australia during the winter season for all those years. So
now you've come back to Thredbo for a quick little trip. What's changed since you talked?
Oh, I just don't recognise it. It's completely, look, it's a completely different place. Friday Flat, it's like another resort I can see down there. And well, the Krakenback Bridge, and there was nothing. There was Ram's Head lift there when I was here, and rain lift. And what I do recognise is I go past the name of a lodge. Oh yes, that was here when I was here. But otherwise, look, I just don't recognise it. Because, as I say, there wasn't even a hotel here. There was the post office when I first arrived, and they built the hotel the next year, and that was so sophisticated to have the hotel here. Oh, and no, it was a small village, and you almost knew everybody that was, well, you knew everyone was working here, but even the guests, you got to know, and you knew the guests or somebody knew somebody. On my last year here, they introduced a thing called a package deal. Oh, what was this? And I didn't particularly like the package deal because the people came to a class, I was given a class, well, it was all part of the deal. They weren't really interested in learning to ski. Whereas, so I thought that was the first downhill slide at Thredbo, as it was. Now it is a wonderful place for everyone, and I can just see the facilities. And I'm sorry I'm not up the mountain, but I haven't got a single bit of ski equipment here. I've got absolutely nothing. It's all sitting in Jackson, including my Bogner Museum. It's all over there, sitting there. So I haven't had, but I hope perhaps tomorrow I might be able to just go up and lift and just have a look around. I don't know, I'll see. I haven't even got any boots, never mind. It's just been fascinating to see how it's developed and the number of people that it caters for. And that Friday Flat was a real opener to me. It's like a whole nother resort. And so that's about, luckily I'm still skiing. I had a wonderful January in Jackson, so I don't feel so I'm completely deprived. And the reason I'm here now is because of the virus. I'm normally back in England at this time of year with horses.
Well, that's fantastic.
My daughter's a serious equestrian, a 3-day eventer. So,
still doing many different things, huh?
Oh yes, oh yes. So you don't miss out. You only come here once. You've got to make the most of every day, I've always said. And so
sounds like you have.
I think I've had a wonderful life. I've been so lucky. No, I have been extremely lucky.